All right, guys, welcome back after our short break. Let's continue with our lesson. So first up now, we're going to look at the measures of spread, okay? Now, I already indicated some of the points. So now we look at the first part that says the range. And what is the range? I indicated it's the difference between the highest and the lowest values in your data set, okay? What else is important is the interquartile range, your IQR, and that's the difference between the upper quartile and your lower quartiles, right? This range contains the middle 50% of the data. And then, what is the formula that we use to calculate the interquartile range? That will be quartile 3 minus quartile 1. Now, please note, this is very important. If you want to do good at the subject, you have to understand the literacy. So this is the literacy that you see now, the definitions. If you understand the definitions, the mathematical part becomes easier. So let's quickly put whatever I've said now into context, right? So I'm saying here, question 1. Calculate the range for the following set of data. So I'm looking for the range, and there's the data given. Remember, we said in order to calculate the range, I must get the difference between the highest and the lowest value. So I'll do this here on our right-hand side. So I'll say range equals highest value minus lowest value. All right. So now I will locate my highest value here. So looking at the data set, I have 123, 70, 50, 22, 81, 97, 121, 89, 3, 42, and 11. So looking at this, our highest value here will be 123. And I'm sure you agree with me, so I'm going to substitute into the formula now. Highest value is 123. And then looking at the lowest value, that should be then 3. So I'll say 123 minus 3, so that gives me an answer of 120. Okay, so that's straightforward. 123 minus 3 equals 120. Okay, let's look at question number 2. It says here, the table below represents the number of grade 12 boys and girls in the top 10 schools in your district. The range of the number of girls is 50. Calculate the missing value at school G, which represents the lowest number of girls. All right. Now, remember when we started, I said you must be able to manipulate the subject of the formula. So what do I mean by that? So here, I know range equals highest minus lowest value. Now remember, step 1 is always to start with your formula. Step number 2, you substitute into your formula. And when you substitute, think, for example, soccer. You take off a player. Do you leave that spot open? No. What happens? You put another player in there. That's exactly what we mean with substitution. Okay, so looking at the given information, I'm saying here that the range of the number of girls is 50. So based on the information, I know what the range is. That is 50. Equals, looking at the data set, remember now we are working with boys and girls. But we have to be very specific. We are referring to, it says calculate the missing value at school G. Can you see that? So it's here. So it refers to the girls, right? And which represent the lowest number of girls. Now when I look at my girls, right? Here, I can find what? The highest value. So looking at it, we agree that the highest value here will be 101. Why am I doing this? Because my formula is asking for the highest value. So therefore I'm going to substitute the highest value, 101. Do I know what the lowest value is? No, I'm looking for the lowest value. So therefore I'm going to keep it as L. So now I'm going to change the subject of the formula. I'm looking for the lowest value. So I'm going to say L equals to 101 minus 50. Remember, L represents the lowest value. So therefore, the lowest value will be, so I'm going to take my calculator and I want you to do the same. 101 minus 50. So therefore, the lowest value here will be 51. All right, so I hope that is clear to all of you. I manipulate or I change the subject of the formula. When I look at the formula, range is the subject of the formula. But since I'm looking for the lowest value, I made L, which is the lowest value, the subject of the formula. Please keep that in mind. All right, let's move on to our next sum. All right, so here I'm saying finding quartiles in a data set with an odd number of values. Right? So it says the data below represents the daily attendance of people to a grocery store in your area. Use the data set to determine the quartiles and the IQR of the data set. Now, please note, always make sure that you arrange your data in ascending order first, meaning from small to big. Now, for this example, I already arranged it for you. Looking at it, you'll see it starts with 23, 28, 33, 48, 55, 55, 78, 92, 101, 111, 123, 145, 165, already from small to big. Now, very simple. How will we determine our quartiles? And I want you to work with me. Now, if I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So there are 13 numbers here. Hence, we are saying it's an odd number, right, of values. So first of all, I can find my median. What is the median again? It's the middle number. So I'm going to start by counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we agree that 78 will be exactly in the middle. Because now I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers on my right-hand side as well. So therefore, 78 becomes my quartile 2, which is also called our median. Guys, are we clear on that? So first of all, we find the middle number. Step number 2, I'm going to divide my numbers. I'm first going to exclude my median, and I divide my data set into 2 equal parts. And I want you to look carefully at what I'm doing. First, I determine quartile 2, which is the middle number. Now I divided my data set into 2 equal parts, meaning I have 6 numbers on my left-hand side and 6 numbers on my right-hand side. And now I'm going to treat the left-hand side as if it's the only set of data, right? And I'm going to determine the median of that. So therefore, if you look at the 6 numbers now, I have 2 middle numbers. So I'm going to say 33 plus 48 divided by 2. Remember, when we determine the median of an even set of numbers, we find the middle 2 numbers, add them together, divided by 2. Exactly what I did here now. So I'll say 33 plus 48, and that value I divide by 2. So meaning this will be 40,5. Now this then becomes my quartile 1, or my lower quartile. Guys, I hope that is clear. So what I did now on the left-hand side of my median, I'll also do on the right-hand side of my median. So now I'm going to take the 6 numbers on the right-hand side of my median, and I do exactly the same. Let's find the median of these numbers, starting at 92 all the way to 165. So we agree that these 2 numbers will be exactly in the middle. So therefore, I'm going to say 111 plus 123 divided by 2. So 111 or 111 plus 123 equals 234, and I divide that by 2. So this will give me 117. So this becomes now quartile 3, our upper quartile. Guys, are we clear? So there we have quartile 1, quartile 2, and quartile 3. I hope that is clear. Then lastly, I said you must also determine the interquartile range. I will do this here in the right-hand corner. So IQR, we said equals Q3 minus our quartile 1, Q1. Now it's only a matter of substituting, right? So what is the value of Q3? We said Q3 equals 117 minus what is the value of Q1? That is 40,5, 40 and a half, right? So now let's quickly type that in, 117 minus 40.5, and that will give us an answer of, let me quickly just erase that. That will give us an answer of 76,5. So 76 and a half. That's our interquartile range. Guys, I hope that makes sense. Let us quickly take a short advert break. After the break, we'll continue with more sums. See you now.